to you guys. Right. So those who have received invite, you would have many have already accepted my invite and have joined to this course. So I have included something called as Unit 0, where I have included various things related to the introduction of this course. So you can see the outline of the course here. Now I have written about the course outline. Yeah. I try to log in using RVC mail ID so that I no need to give permission in between, right? All right. Yeah. So I have written the course outline here. All these things you can go through. You can take time for today and tomorrow, and you can go through the introduction part. So I have written the prerequisite. So just to talk about prerequisite, as I mentioned, this comes in the line of the courses what you have learned in your previous semester. Um, Probably I'll try to show that slide what I have used for the orientation course where yeah, probably you remember this slide. I have showed this in your orientation time. So these are the VLSI courses at RB. And if you look at VLSI, especially in the analog domain, we have covered two courses, especially to understand about the circuits, understand about discrete and integrated circuit techniques, right, as the two core courses. So these are the prerequisite, or if you're familiar, I will not say that you should remember each and everything from these courses, but if you are familiar with these two courses, or if you have some interest towards these courses, this elective will be definitely interesting, and I hope you have taken with your own interest for this, right? Yeah. So the prerequisite is the previous two courses. Since they are the core courses, all of you have studied these courses. That is one assumption. Second thing is, yeah, as I mentioned in the orientation class, we will not be having the intensive analysis. If you think the analysis what we have done in AMC and AMS are very intense, we will not be having such intense analysis in this course. Rather, our course, the mode or the study will be more intuitive. I'll be sharing the course content in a while. Right. So this is the background that what you should have. But I would say in very simple terms, if you have the knowledge of working of MOSFET, with some familiarity of these courses and have interest to learn this RFIC, that would be enough. Right. So going back to the Canvas platform, I'll just take you to that. Yeah, so here I have written the prerequisite, the timetable for this month. For the month of September, we have classes on like 4 days, the same time, 3 to 4 will be the timing. And I have kept the syllabus there. A lesson plan, maybe for you, you will be seeing a different view. You'll not be seeing as it is. You'll be like, I can show that student view here. So lesson plan I'll be uploading soon, where what I'll cover and on which all days. So those details will be uploaded. You can have a look at the previous year question papers if you are interested to know what kind of questions we will ask for this course. Again, this simulation tools and utilities are not yet published to you. I have included certain online tools which we will be using while we study the content of this course. And in self-reading materials, you can go to this self-reading materials. I'll be posting certain content here. For now, I have posted only one content which shows the market about RFIC, radio frequency integrated circuit market, the global industry trend analysis from 12 to 17, and forecast from 17 to 25. So when you have time, just go through this and get familiarized with these things. And one more thing I have created is an assignment kind of thing. It is not actually an assignment. I have made it as a graded assignment so that you all will be answering to this. So it is just to have an introduction since we are connecting over online, and most of you, or like many faces, are not familiar to me. So I would like to know about you in detail. So I have asked certain questions there. You can answer to that. Right. So by tomorrow evening, if you can finish that and if you can go through the Unit 0 contents, you will get an idea about the course and how we'll go about and how we'll learn about this course. Right. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for opting this course. So I'll be you will be getting a notification in your mail, the registered mail, whenever I do some update here. Right. So you can follow this LMS for any update regarding RFIC. Maybe your official quiz and other things like for the CIE component, we will continue with the college thing, which is Quick Learn. Right. And I'll be enabling discussions and other things one by one in the coming days. Right. So before we proceed, so if you have a laptop at home, better always listen to the classes from using laptop. And one more thing, I really don't know about the internet connectivity of all the students in the class. Some may be using the data from mobile. Some may be having broadband wired LAN connection. So I will just take a survey on that, like to know about your internet connectivity and the devices what you have, whether you have a laptop or you have a mobile, just for my information so that I can also plan accordingly. So I'll be taking a survey on that. Please respond to that survey as well. So before we start, I would like to ask one question. So if you are using a laptop, I hope you can see the screen. Right. So you can open a tab in the browser and you can go to menti.com and you can use the code 7980629. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, so you can go to menti.com, you can use this code and you can just write your answer in one word. What is that one reason that made you to choose RFIC as the elective? I'll give you 1 minute time, you can respond. Those are not able to connect, those are not able to open it in another tab, you can just hold on, you can just relax. All right, I'm getting responses. Most challenging design, interest in analog IC design, interest, masters, opportunities to explore more in analog. All right, VLSI course, potential career, very good. What else? Interest in VLSI, interesting. Wireless connectivity. All right, I have 56 participants. Wireless connectivity teacher. Communication circuits, very good. All right, so thank you for the responses. So I believe that all of you have opted this elective out of your interest to know more about analog, to more about, since this is a course aligned to VLSI, and since you are interested in VLSI, you want to know more about communication circuits. Yeah, some more answers are coming in. Interest in VLSI. Yes, that is something majority have given as interest in VLSI. Very good. Yeah, so I can see your responses and I'll try my level best to cater to the various needs. Yeah, so this is the first time we are running, we are starting a course as online, even though we have done a part of that in the previous semester. So yeah, I got almost 35 responses and thank you so much for that. Right, I'll be just stopping this. All right. Yeah. So there may be some technical glitches that may come because of internet connectivity on your side or on my side. So I'll make sure that whenever a concept is taught, a video lecture video will be recorded and it will be posted in YouTube, and the links will be made. It will be posted in Canvas as well, so that you can follow that links. Right. So moving on, I just want to bring in few slides what I have used for your introduction, the orientation course as, yeah, this one. Hope you are familiar with this. You have seen this slide even before. So when we talk about radio frequency IC design, the first thing which comes to your mind is something called as radio, right? So to understand the title of the course, I would say radio, what comes to your mind when you hear the word radio? So radio is a device that wirelessly transmit or receive signals, right, in the radio frequency part of the electromagnetic spectrum. So probably this is the first time we are connecting to the spectrum in the circuit related courses, right? So so basically radio is a device that can transmit and receive signals wirelessly, and if that basically does at the radio frequency part of the electromagnetic spectrum. So we may not define the radio frequency spectrum very clearly. I will say for time being, so whatever from 1 giga, so that is generally the frequency, the range where we start with. So when we start our design, or when we do this course for you as a radio frequency IC design, we'll be dealing with the circuits which works in this range of frequency from megahertz to few gigahertz of frequency, right? But we know that currently or today with 4G or with 5G or with the future predictions on this communication side, we are not, in fact, we are not only working on lower gigahertz. We are actually, we have moved to the higher frequencies, or we have moved to the other side of the spectrum. The one main reason is the lower side of the spectrum is already overcrowded with a lot of applications. So we are trying to move to the higher frequency in order to utilize that. And one advantage of that is, as we move to the higher frequency or high frequency part of the spectrum, the amount of bandwidth what we can use is also actually huge. I don't know if you remember the relation between bandwidth and the center frequency, which is in fact directly proportional. So as we move our center frequency from low frequency to a higher frequency, definitely there will be increased availability of bandwidth, right? So what I shared about bandwidth is, so in our course we'll be discussing circuits which works in the lower gigahertz part of the spectrum, or in maybe up to few gigahertz to 5 or to 7 gigahertz, right? But today when we say RFIC design, it is much more than that, right? So there are a lot of areas, a lot of things has come up, and one such important thing is something called as millimeter wave. So millimeter wave regime or millimeter wave spectrum is from 30 giga to 300 giga, and after 300 giga we call something called as terahertz. So even all these frequency, all this part of the spectrum are being utilized for various applications to make our life very, very simple, right? So yeah, so we started from the title. Maybe I'll be talking like this without any slide, without any writings for today. From next class, when we start learning the concepts, we will be definitely, I'll be writing on my tab and I'll be sharing the screen to you. Right. So yeah, so we talked about a radio. It is a device that can wirelessly transmit and receive signal. Mostly that work on the radio frequency part of the spectrum. And now, if you look at the front end of a radio, so probably after completing the course on CS1 and CS2, you will be definitely having an idea of a communication system, right? Yeah, so the front end of a radio is actually comprised of something called as a transmitter and a receiver. And I hope you very well know about a transmitter and a receiver. At least in the block level, you'll be knowing that, right? So what you see on screen now is actually the inside of a mobile system, inside of an iPhone 7 chipset. Right. So as I told, there is something called as a receiver and transmitter inside a radio, and what you are seeing is actually the inside of a mobile device, which is actually used for wireless communication purpose. So I have marked different things on this chip, and you can definitely see certain things which are marked under analog or mixed signal on the left side. So probably A to D, D to A, oscillators, PLLs, audio amplifiers, RF transceivers, power management. There are a lot of circuits that are classified under analog or mixed signal over this side. And there are something under digital where we talk about processors, baseband modems, then DSPs, memories, etc. Right. So apart from this, there will be a lot of other circuits which will be helping as a whole of this mobile phone system. But our interest is towards something what you can see here as RF transceiver and what you can see here as oscillators and PLLs. I hope my internet connection is good and my voice is clear. Can I get it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes. All right. Now, so through this course, we will be focusing on the crucial blocks which are listed here. Probably A to D and D to A converters in a system level we have done in our previous course, A to D and D to A converters, not in circuit level, only in system level. But we'll definitely look at circuit level aspects of oscillators. PLLs are phase locked loops. Then RF transceiver is what I told just now. There is a transmitter and a receiver, and there are various blocks inside this transmitter and receiver, right? So this course is all about looking at each and every circuit block inside a radio, inside a transceiver. Right, just I have zoomed in to show where it is exactly, but I don't think this picture will give you some more information. You can just see some dots, right? All right, so this is the overview of the course. The same I have actually explained during the orientation time. If some of you have missed, you can have a glance through this, and the same certain little more detail I have written in the course page in Canvas also. So first unit we'll be since this is the first time you are learning something about higher frequency or radio frequency, we have to start very basic. So we start with the basic concepts in RF design. We'll start with the units what we use in RF. We will start with the basic parameters what we will measure in an RF. So those things will be done in unit 1. So before that, we'll be having an introduction. That is what we are doing now in this today's class, Introduction to RF Design and Wireless Technology. Right. So I think you would have updated with the news, and you would have heard with this ever increasing demand to reduce the cost and size of communication equipment, many off-chip components are moving to on-chip. So one way to reduce size and to reduce price is actually integrating everything together. So, or to move some of the off-chip components to on-chip. And most of the architectures what we use in present day radios, when I say present day radios in all the transceivers, are more than half a century old. All those circuits are actually those circuits are there from more than a century. But what is happening with the changes or with the advancement in IC technology, various modifications are happening to these existing architectures, right? But when these existing architectures are modified, there are a lot of trade-offs happening. I hope you remember what is a trade-off. So if I take you back to your analog and mixed signal course, where we learned about a CS amplifier and a CS amplifier with the source degeneration, where in a degeneration circuit, we try to make the circuit more linear, but for that we are trading off, but for that we are compromising the gain, right? So in order to get something, we are actually losing the other one. That is something called as trade-off. So even though the architectures are present from quite a long time, various modifications are proposed to the existing architecture, but that is bringing in a lot of trade-offs. So what I meant to say is the underlying principle in the circuit design remains same. So I don't know, you may be wondering, we are learning only, because I have come across, many students have asked me also, okay, I'll just pause for a while and I'll give you one question, because I don't know how many of you are following. I started talking from almost 27, 28 minutes. So I'll be giving you one question. Please answer to this so that I'll know that you are awake. The same mentimeter, sorry. All right, are you able to see this? Oh no, I did not present it. Sorry. Yes. You can go to many.com and you can use the code 7980629 just to check whether you are listening to my lecture. Yeah, probably the lecture link is on. All right, I'm getting count only on one side. Yeah, those who are not able to respond to this many.com, it's perfectly fine. You can just put a message in the chat box. All right, out of 54, 32 are listening, 33. Yes, I'm getting responses even in the chat. All right, thank you. Yes. I hope you guys are listening. All right. Now, so coming back to what we were all right, yeah. So I was talking about architectures, right? So the circuits are there, and so some modifications are coming to the circuit, but that is bringing in certain trade-offs. Now, with technology scaling, you would have heard about technology scaling as we move from a higher technology node where we say like 190 nanometer or 90 nanometer to lower technologies, right? So when we do that, some of the parameters may be favoring RF circuit design and some others will not favor RFCs, right? So now the critical part or in design, the problem actually lies in those parameters that are negligible in the traditional small signal analog design. So there is actually a lot of difference between what we call as analog design and what we call as RF design. So we may have to look at various other parameters when we start designing something for radio frequency. We'll be looking at that very shortly. What are those parameters, or the parameters what we neglected during our traditional analog design? We will definitely considering that during our RF design, because that makes a certain difference when we move to higher frequency, right? So it is very essential to understand the circuit techniques and design considerations of various building blocks in an RFIC design, right? So yeah, I was just before I was talking about devices. You may be wondering, you are learning BJT, you are learning MOSFET, and you learn MOSFET in your third semester, you learn MOSFET in your sixth semester. Now again, this course again we'll be learning in with MOSFET. So you'll be wondering, like we are still doing MOSFET, but there are a lot of new devices has come up, right? So I don't know whether you have this question, but I heard this question from many students, including those who are in third semester now. Now the answer to the question is this: as I mentioned just now, many circuits are robust, many circuits proved and established. Now the difference is because of the advancements in IC, as we scale down, there may be certain parameters or certain things may go wrong. So the crucial part, or the important role as a circuit designer, or especially as an RF designer, what we need to do is to find out which parameter is getting traded off when we move to a particular technology, and understand the underlying principle and work towards that, right? So it is very, very important. It is essential to understand the circuit techniques and the design considerations of various building blocks in RFIC design. So that is this course all about. So in your first unit, you will be having a basic, an understanding on the basic concepts of RF design, where we will bring in certain things which we haven't covered in your AMC or in AMS or in the traditional analog design. So we call that as non-linearity. We did not cover something called as non-linearity in these two courses, because we used to neglect the effect of non-linearity there, because that is not making any major effect in analog design. But that is not the case in an RF design, or when we move to the RF part of the spectrum, right? So if you are wondering, or if you are wondering with the terms of the or the things what I'm talking now, you will be definitely getting clarity on that as we start our classes from unit 1, right? So after covering the concepts, especially we talk about non-linearity and noise. A bit of noise is covered in your previous course. So we will start with non-linearity and noise, and we will understand what are the basic issues in RFIC design. So with that understanding, we will also study about the parameters what we are interested. So say in your AMS course, you would have always heard about voltage gain. So we were designing circuits. We were designing op-amps for such and such gain, right? Or we will look at the input impedance part or the output impedance part of a circuit. Nothing more than that. Maximum we have looked up to common mode rejection ratio or such parameters. But now, what are the important parameters we need to consider when we do a design, when we do an RF design? So those things will be covered in your unit 1. Now unit 2, you have an idea about noise from AMS. We will be extending that to RF circuits with a new parameter which we call as noise figure. Maybe you would have heard about noise figure in your communication courses also, right? So before starting the circuit blocks in a transceiver, in a radio, we will be looking at various architectures, various transceiver architectures, and we will start from the traditional super heterodyne structure, right? So we will look at various architectures, and we'll try to understand the architecture as a whole. So what I can say is, in unit 2, you will be doing a system level study, right? So system level study, and after that, unit 3, 4, and 5, these three units will give you more idea about circuit part. So we will be dealing with circuits from unit 3, 4, and 5. And I have listed the main circuits what we will be covering in this course. One is low noise amplifier, The second one is mixers and oscillators, and the last is a system. Again, it is a system, phase locked loop, right? So now, one thing I can tell you, this is not a course that you can learn in one semester. First of all, this course is not offered as a UG course in many universities, but we started offering here since we wanted to build a strong foundation in students in the analog, mixed and RF part, or since we want to give all flavors of VLSI to you guys, we have included this course in our syllabus. Right. So yeah. So what I was trying to say is we will not be able to cover the entire RFIC design in our one semester course. Actually, this should be a 2-semester course. So we have selected major blocks and we have included that in the syllabus that we'll be covering. Right. Yeah, so I have written as classroom discussions. Whenever it is possible, when you come, we'll be doing that, or else the discussions, all the classroom discussions will be on Canvas, right? And the whatever lectures are there, I'll be recording and giving it. You can watch it, and yeah, I'll tell you what are the ways through which we will learn, and I'll be sharing the lesson plan very soon. Right. Yeah. So talking about the reference books again. The image is not very clear. The first book, that is a reference book. The syllabus is taken from that book, where you can take the support from the other 3 books, right? So RF Microelectronics, the author is Behzad Razavi, the same author, and probably you have seen 2 books of the same author in your 3rd semester AMC and your 6th semester AMS. The main contents are from this, but we'll be definitely referring the 2nd book of Calvin and the 3rd and 4th book of Bosco Leung and Thomas Lee for certain topics. So I may ask you to read from these books as well. All right. Yeah. So the main reference book is RF Microelectronics by Razavi. If you want to have from the responses what I got, since you are interested, you can definitely have a copy of this book. And if you are planning for your master's, definitely this will be one course which, if you choose something to study from circuit, definitely this will be one course, right? Yeah. So again, this I have actually explained in our orientation course. This slide brings you some differences between an analog and an RF designer. Not to make you feel scared by looking at Maxwell's equations, dBm, S parameters, network analyzer, noise figure, all those things. But this is what an RF designer will really look into, right? But we will not be, as I told, we will be covering this in one semester. We will not be able to cover all the aspects of RFIC. So I'll be telling you what all aspects of RFIC I'll be covering in this course, right? So if you contrast between these are the major differences between an analog designer and an RF designer, right? So the equipments what we use to measure differ, the units or the quantities what we measure and the units differ, and the basic principles what we use differ. All differences are because one place you have a distributed approach and one place you have a lumped approach. That also we'll be seeing very shortly. Now you can see the last difference in most of the analog chips. We will be talking about CMOS, but in RF we may be looking at new devices. When I say new devices, basically new materials. So you can see gallium arsenide, gallium nitride, so we call it as GaN devices, indium phosphide. There are many new new materials has proposed and devices are there, and some of those are being included in as a part of RF chip, right? So wherever it is possible, I'll be giving certain glimpse of the new materials which are being part of the various circuit blocks, right? So I did not take any questions till now. I'll just finish this in another 5 minutes and I'll be taking questions. So if you look at our today's life, so knowingly or unknowingly, we also wanted to be connected wirelessly everywhere, right? So even at your home, or even when you travel, or if you are at college or wherever it is, we are getting more and more comforted. We are more comfortable when we are able to connect without a wire, right? So we are living in a wireless world where everything is connected without a wire. And in such a world, this RF design, where we talk about the design of circuits without a wire, is very, very important to know that, right? So you can see a lot of devices are connected through high-speed wireless link, and those are making our lives very, very easy, right? So now, so before I end today's session, I just want to bring you even this thing by stating that RF design is actually challenging. Right. Again, this is not to scare you, but this is a fact. RF design is actually challenging. If you ask me why, I would say, as I mentioned, RFIC design is actually about communication circuits, or this is actually VLSI for communication circuits. So we have to, as an RF designer, there is a part to play or to know about VLSI, and there is a part to know about communication. So you know that communication and VLSI are two major disciplines under electronics, or under VLSI, sorry, under electronics. So we need to cover a lot of things. You can see I have, not I, this is Razavi listed the various disciplines which need to be covered to have, to become a good RF designer. So maybe communication theory, of course, it is required. So microwave theory also, because as I told, we'll be moving from the lower end of the spectrum to the higher end. So as we move, we need to know about microwave, we need to know about millimeter waves and all such things, right? Now, yeah, so whenever you have learned about communication theory, random signals as a part of that, right? Because we will be having noise, we'll be having interferences, all such random signals will also come into picture. Then we need to know about the architectures. As a VLSI part, we need to know about IC design. We may take the help of CAD tools. Since it is everything wireless, we need to know about wireless standards. We need to know about multiple access techniques where we can actually enable communication, and we should also know about signal propagation. So whatever you can see here, the various disciplines, what is marked here, all will contribute towards this RF design, right? So in that way, RF design is actually challenging, right? But our course in this semester, we will be taking only few aspects from all these disciplines. No, we'll be taking only, we'll be focusing only on few disciplines. So we'll be definitely looking at IC design part. We'll be looking at transceiver architectures, as I mentioned in Unit 2. And we'll be also looking at part of communication theory with the knowledge what you have. So we'll be working mostly on the IC design part. So you can see these three things: transceiver architectures, IC design, and CAD tools. So these three we will be focusing actually to cover this course in this particular semester. But as a whole, to master this course, it is very, very challenging, because we need the idea, or we need to have a sound knowledge from all these fields. And before winding up, bringing you the trade-off parameters, in analog, you are familiar with an octagon where we talk about 8 different parameters trading off each other. But in RF design, Razavi proposed a hexagon where these are the main parameters what trade-offs for each other: noise with power, frequency, gain, supply voltage, and linearity. So these are the parameters what trade-offs each other, right? So in that sense, RFIC design is challenging because it needs the knowledge of multiple disciplines, and there are a lot of trade-offs. So as we move from a higher technology node to a lower technology node, there are some parameters may improve, but some other may not work. So we need to work out, and we need to understand what exactly these trade-offs are, right? So the big picture of overall design always helps the designer to foresee the issues which are associated with the integration of transceiver components onto a chip, right? So with that, I'm just winding up today's introduction class. So thank you all for listening, and I hope that you have listened. Yeah, you could get something from this class about the introduction. Now, I would. Yeah, so that's all about introduction. So now I will request for if you have any questions or if you have any further doubts regarding the things what I shared today or about the course, you can definitely ask me now. So one by one, you can put in chat box, or even you can mm, unmute yourself and do that. But meanwhile, since yeah, is RFIC full custom design or semi custom design? Yeah. So Abhinav, so talking about full custom and semi custom design. So if you so many blocks are actually available as IPs, right? So we may not start with the full custom design because we have many components available as such. So if you are in an RFIC company, related company, and if you have all those things, then it will not become a full custom design. You have certain things as it is, so you will be working only on what you do not have, right? So in that sense, it is not actually a full custom design, because it is as I mentioned, it is a lot of work has happened, and this area has established a bit, a lot, not a bit, a lot. So you may not be starting with a very full custom design if you are not I don't know in what context you asked. As a student, when we start, yes, we have to learn everything, but from a company perspective, no, definitely they'll be having designs with them already. What are the CAD tools that we will be using? Yes, so last time was the first time I was I actually, yeah, the previous two batches I could actually take students to lab, and we have used Cadence tool to measure RF parameters of certain circuits. So what I mentioned in unit 1, yeah, Faisal, I'll come to you. I am just answering Divyananthan's question. Yeah, so last two times we have done actually certain experiments. Experiments is basically to measure RF parameters, right? So that can be done. I hope we can do that this time also. Not, I'm not hope thinking about a lab at college, but I'm trying to do something remote, as you can do at your home. So if you can look at the Canvas page where I have, yeah, I'll be publishing that page soon. A certain online calculators and tools I have already put it there. So for calculations for the design part, we'll be using that. But for simulation, we have to have Cadence as a primary tool, right? So apart from Cadence, Mentor Graphics provides, Synopsys also provides tools. But if you go to an industry, for the company, they'll be using different tools for different stages of IC design, right? Yeah. Now coming to Faizan's question, is this course we'll be doing just theory or simulation also? So this course is about theoretical understanding and a bit of design on paper. As I'm told, you can appreciate this course only if you do a simulation of this, right? So I was not able to. We were not able to do that before, because in 7th semester you'll be busy. You will students will rarely come to class because of placements, right? So, but last 2 years I could manage to give 2 lab sessions. So similarly, I will check out the availability of Cadence with you guys, and I will definitely plan a minimum of 2 lab sessions. That I will assure this time. Yeah, I hope I answered your questions. Yeah, the questions of Divyanandan, Abhinav, and Faisal. Thank you for that. Any other questions? How does this course help in digital design? Okay, so how does this course help in digital design? If you ask me, I didn't get that question. Can you elaborate a bit? Does it mean that you are interested in digital, and so how it will help you? Meanwhile, others also can post your question. All right. Yeah. Rohit, you can actually just give me a clarification on that. I'll be answering your question. Before that, yeah, I'll come back. We'll discuss on questions, but before that, I just want to take attendance. All right. So taking attendance online is difficult, but still I'll just try for today. So you can unmute and you can just tell me. All right.
Hello, sir.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so my question was like, how does it help in digital design? Like, in a sense, whatever knowledge we gain, can it be used in any way for digital design, or is it purely, for analog?
Uh, can the knowledge be used in digital design?
Yeah.
So now I will ask a question back. Like, what do you mean by this digital design? Did you mean the coding
No,
stuff? What do you mean?
in general, like there are some certain topics in digital design which are, for that field, right? So, can this in any way be used?
Uh, yeah, still I'm not. Yeah, I'll try to answer your question, Rohit, but I am
Yeah,
not
yeah.
fully. I did not get the full clarity on that. So if you look at VLSI, definitely you have actually two streams like analog and digital. So generally, if you look on at a job perspective, so if you go to a company, definitely you'll not be not doing digital and analog together. You'll be either in that team or in this team, right? So say for example, you are into a digital team in a company which work on RF, right? So
Yeah.
when you work on the digital side, you will definitely understand what your RF counterpart or your analog team is actually talking about. You will not be. And I'm answering in a very basic way. I don't know whether this is what you have asked. So you'll be definitely understanding what is their concern if you have this knowledge in that way. But on the design side, the approaches are definitely different. When you design a digital part and when you design an RF or an analog part, the approaches are actually different. But as a whole, yes, you will get a better big picture when you know these things.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, did I answer your question? I don't know.
Yeah, most of it, yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you. Yeah, so I am just marking all present. I'll just take out if you are absent. Nishant. Oh, Nishant is not there. All right. Sarvesh. You should unmute and tell me, otherwise I'll not hear. Abhinaves.
Present, sir.
Aditi Modi.
Present, sir.
Advait Ashwin. Akash P.
Present, sir.
Akshay Narayan.
Present, sir.
Amritesh. Amritesh, we have logged in from. Oh, I think I have added you twice. Okay. Amritesh is not there, right? All right. Anand GS.
Present, sir.
Anirudh Kashyap.
Yes, sir.
Ankita.
Present, sir.
Ankur. Arpita.
Present, sir.
Chetan.
Present, sir.
Nityanandan,
Present, sir.
Faizan,
Present, sir.
Sai, Juhi,
Yes, sir.
Kavya ji,
Present, sir.
Kevin,
Present, sir.
Subramanya,
Present, sir.
Mahesh,
Yes, sir.
Mahesh Chandru, Manoj Naik, Mayuka,
Yes, sir.
Mayuka is
Yes,
present. Yeah. Likita,
Yes, sir.
Likita, Nagaraj,
Present, sir.
This is Nagendra.
Nagendra
Present,
Sai
sir.
Sivan.
All right. Nagesh.
Present, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Neha Suresh.
Present, sir.
Nikhil.
Yes, sir.
Nitin Kumar.
Yes, sir.
Saurabh.
Yes, sir.
Purnima. Purnima. Pradyumna. Prakash. Pramath. Prasanna Sai.
Yes, sir.
Purushottam.
Yes, sir.
Rahul.
Present, sir.
Rahul J.
Yes, sir.
Rahul Raj.
Present, sir.
Rakshak.
Present, sir.
Rohit.
Present, sir.
Sagar T.
Yes, sir.
Saurabh. Shashank Hola.
Yes, sir.
Shreyans. Shreyas Rao.
Yes, sir.
Sridhar.
Yes, sir.
Siddharth.
Yes, sir.
Srujan.
Present, sir.
Sudhindra.
Yes, sir.
Varsha Kulkarni.
Present, sir.
Rohit.
Yes, sir.
Vijay Lakshmi. Vinay Kumar. Vishai.
Present, sir.
Vishnu Teja.
Yes, sir.
Vishwas.
Present, sir.
Vivek Thomas.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So anyone else? If you
Sir, this is Kavana. My name wasn't called out.
Yeah, all right. You can just those who the names which I missed, you can just put in chat box. All right. Sai Shrikar, I read your message. Yes. So any more questions you can ask. So please change your name. You put your name there instead of your email ID. In your account you can actually change. You should add a photo and you can actually put your name. All right.
Sir,
So yes. Any more questions?
I was present, sir.
Yeah, your voice is very feeble.
Can you hear me now, sir?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
No, I didn't get. What is the question?
Who, me, sir?
Yeah.
No, I was present. That's what I told you, sir.
Oh, Sandur it is. Okay, all right. So any more questions? If no, then we can wind up today's class. Yeah, I have seen the names. I'll be entering that over here. If you haven't joined to the Canvas, please join. Please accept the invitation. And if you did not receive the invitation, I'll be sending the invite based on the entries what you are giving in the Google form, which is shared in the WhatsApp group. And one of you can please update this Google Classroom, this meeting link in the group description of the WhatsApp. Right. So thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.